All right. All right, greetings, everyone. Welcome to the November 30 meeting of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. I hope that all of you had a wonderful, lovely, and safe Thanksgiving with lots of turkey and stuffing and all the fixings. I know in our family we did, for our gathering of 5 folks here in Raleigh, we had exactly 5 pies, which turned out to be exactly the right number. I hope there were enough pies for all of you as well. Of course, we were all shocked and saddened by the news that we learned on Sunday that Wilson Heyman passed away this Saturday. As I was mentioning in the chat before we started the meeting, he and his wife had, a great day on Saturday. They attended the UNC football game in person, but then he just had a sudden and unexpected heart attack late that night. There's some comfort in the fact that he got to have a great day outdoors and support, his beloved UNC Chapel Hill on his last day. We'll have a tribute to Wilson a little bit later on in the program. Right now, we look forward to hearing from our speaker, James LaMantia. We'll also, James, the Rotarian from Northport, New York. He's just relocated to Raleigh. He opened an art gallery in Cameron Village. He is the secretary of an organization called Gift of Life International, which is a wonderful Rotary International program that you'll be hearing more about today. So without further delay, I'm going to turn the program over to Richard Watkins for the invocation and the pledge.
If you all would join me now for a moment of silence while we remember Wilson Heyman. And in light of the moment that we are in and the week that we just experienced for Thanksgiving, I think that it is important that we remember gratitude. And let us be grateful. Be grateful for what remains of your health, your friends, your family, your children and grandchildren. The memories that you have of those you love, or the memories you have of those you lost. Life, as we all know, gives and it takes. Be grateful for what you have or for what used to be. Be grateful. And for all of your days, remain grateful. Amen. Will you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I believe Christy has some guests if we want to introduce them later, Eric.
Thank you, Wilson. Rest in peace, and I will be sure to place your loved ones in my prayers this evening. Eric.
Thank you so much, Richard. And thanks again to Wilson for sharing that wonderful music. That's a performance that he actually gave in our church just a couple of weeks ago. We'll get to a further tribute to Wilson in just a minute. Right now, let's go ahead and introduce our guests. And I understand that Christy has a couple of guests to introduce.
Hello, everyone. We do have 3 people here today from Keyforce, and they have just purchased a company in the Raleigh area and are interested in joining our club as either a corporate member or as individual members. So we have Terry McKee, the president of Keyforce, Sean Higgins, their business development manager, and Joni Goodman, VP of Software Solutions. Joni is actually a fellow Rotarian from Paducah, Kentucky. So she's excited to get involved here in the area as well. So welcome, guys. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. We also have a joy to announce, a wonderful new child that you can see on the screen there. Dana Johnson and her husband are happy to announce that they are the proud parents of young William Ashton Johnson, who was born on November 11th. So I want to go ahead and share that wonderful news with everyone. The circle of life continues here at the Rotary Club. Please go ahead and, if you have not done so already, send an email or in the chat, give a donation to the cart bucket. And keep in mind during your holiday spending this year that if you use the Amazon Smile opportunity through Amazon, some of the money that you spend on your Christmas gifts will go to our Rotary Club, and every bit helps. So if you can think to do that, we would very much appreciate it. Next week, our program is going to be Michael De Los Santos, who's the owner of Mike D's Barbecue, and winner of the Discovery Channel's I Quit. And then the following week is Durham City Council member Pierce Freeline, and he is a musician and a child of sort of Durham royalty. As mother is Nina Freeline, I know, and his father is the architect of the Freedom Park that we heard about just the other week. So that will be a great program as well. All right. At this point, we do want to, I did want to say a few words about Wilson Heyman. Valerie, I don't know if you can go back to the screen with his picture. Wilson was someone who, as much as anybody I know, embodied what it means to be a true gentleman and servant leader. He understood that the good and beautiful things in this world don't just appear by magic. They require good and engaged people to take ownership and support them with their time, talents, energy, leadership, and financial support. And that is what he did, and that is what he encouraged his friends and everyone else around him to do. If there was an institution or cause that Wilson thought worthwhile, he took the responsibility and made sure to do what was in his power to make sure that it would continue to survive and thrive. So, for instance, he was not just a loyal graduate of Princeton Undergraduate School or UNC Law School. He served as the treasury of the Triangle Princeton Club, and then the national chair of the Carolina Parents Council for UNC when his son Will was going there. He was not just an active member of our church, Hayes Barton United Methodist. He sang in the choir, he played the cello, as you just heard. He served as an attorney for the church and chancellor for the United Methodist Conference, and even served a term as the president of the United Methodist Chancellors Association. He loved history, and so of course that meant that he helped found and incorporate the North Carolina Museum of History Foundation and served as its vice chair at one time. He was my law partner and a very good lawyer here at Poynter and Spruill, and an active member of the health law section, editor of its newsletter. He and his wife, Jenny, have been consummate and frequent hosts of political fundraisers for their preferred candidates. And of course, Wilson was a wonderful husband to his wife, Jenny, and a loving father to his son, Will. And then there's the Rotary Club. He joined the Rotary in 1985. He was a Paul Harris Fellow and served as the president of the club from 2001 to 2002. He was a vital member of the group that planned our centennial celebration. And we'll hear from Mary Moss in just a second about that. More recently, he kind of helped picked up the Rotarians Against Drugs program when our district had sort of dropped that. And that's a program that was special to him because it was founded by his father, who was a very active Rotarian in Chapel Hill. And of course, we all remember Wilson's strong voice singing America the Beautiful at the beginning of every meeting, back in the good old days when we were meeting in person. Personally, Wilson was a wonderful friend and mentor to me. A little over 10 years ago, Wilson, who I already knew well from church and the law firm, started inviting me to join him for Rotary Club meetings and introducing me to the members. And after I'd gone about 4 times, always on his dime, I decided to join the club. And then for about 10 years, he and I would meet in the lobby downstairs and walk to the meetings together and sit together and have great conversations about everything. So it's going to be very strange when we meet in person again, and Wilson's not joining me and now Charlie on those walks. In social media circles, there's a reference to something called influencers. And I will say that Wilson and his wife, Jenny, have been major influencers in the best way for me and my wife, Susan. They influenced us to get involved, to take ownership of causes we support, and to do our part to make the community a better place, in at least a part of the way that Wilson and Jenny have been able to do that, all with a gentle spirit and a smile on their face. He will be sorely missed, but the world's a better place for his having been there. And at this point, I'd like to recognize Mary Moss to say a couple of words about Wilson and his work with her.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Eric, for asking me to say something about our dear friend and Rotarian, Wilson Heyman. There's an old saying that has been used in many instances, and I'll just twist it up a little bit to talk about Wilson. If you were lucky enough to know Wilson Heyman, you were lucky enough. Because Wilson Heyman is that man that Eric Stevens has just highlighted. The many faces and impacts of Wilson will be long felt in my family, from him coaching my son on how to try to get into Princeton, his encouragement of joining Rotary, from my knowledge of him as a friend at church. I had the pleasure of hearing him play the cello. And in a twist of irony yet again, I had asked him to play the cello at my funeral. Who knew we would be listening to this now? I and most of Raleigh has asked him to play the cello at his funeral. He's a calming influence. His family were Chapel Hill royalty of sorts. The impact they made in Chapel Hill. I had just had the pleasure of attending his mom's funeral last year, Mary Helen. And Mary Helen and his dad made a profound impact on civil rights and important issues of their day in the town of Chapel Hill and beyond. I like to say that if you stood in the shadow of Wilson Heyman, you got a good light, because he was that man. I loved to be around him. In 2014, when Bill McLaurin and I were working hard on the Centennial, and Cindy Poole was such a major influence there, they had asked me to chair it, Rusine Sinclair, and I was so honored by that. And who do you think my first and only choice was to chair the public gala that would involve the dignitaries from coming around the world to see that spectacular celebration of Rotary in North Carolina, because we are the first Rotary Club founded August 1st, 1914. And so in August 1st, 2014, Wilson and Jenny took center stage and planned the most amazing, well thought out gala. I never had to second guess because I had asked people who understood etiquette, who understood Rotary etiquette, who understood the government, state government etiquette. Pat McCrory, our governor then, was the speaker, and we had lots of other people who were there. They made our committee know that we were having the right kind of celebration and that would give due attention to our Rotary Club, to Rotary in North Carolina, and to Rotary around the world. I could spend the rest of the meeting talking about him and our relationship personally and through Rotary and through church, but I'll just end by saying he gave his full attention and every measure of it to the causes that were important to him, to people who were important to him, to this community, to this Rotary Club, and most of all to his family. And I am ever grateful that I stood in his shadow for just a moment. So thank you for asking me.
Thank you so much, Mary. I know Wilson really appreciated working with you on that and lots of other things. All right. Now we'll move on to some announcements. We'll begin with Mark Hackett with discussions of the latest with the Southeast Raleigh Rotary Club.
Thanks, Eric. Good afternoon, everyone. First, my perspective on Wilson. I didn't know him well, but in my, I guess, 7 or 8 years in Rotary, I did have interactions with him. And as I think Kirk or someone in the chat room said, I always found him to be kind. So I think that will be his legacy. And I always, when I was sitting near him, loved to hear his baritone voice. He had a beautiful voice. He will definitely be missed. Okay, in terms of Southeast Raleigh, they continue to do well, and they are busy. I think later Gina may give us an update on their latest project where they partnered with us on the park project at LaVelle Moulton Park. So I won't talk about that, but just so you know, they, as I've mentioned in the past, the first Saturday and third Saturday of December, they will be involved with food distribution at the Southeast Raleigh YMCA, as well as working with the YMCA on clothes project for Southeast Raleigh High School. So they are raising funds for that project. If you'd like to donate, you can go to their Facebook page or let me know, and I can tell you how to make that donation. Tomorrow is their weekly meeting at 6:30, Zoom meeting, and they will have the executive director, Kim Crawford, from the Raleigh Wake Partnership to End and Prevent Homelessness to be their speaker. And that's, homelessness is one of their key stated missions. So again, they continue to do well. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Mark. Next, we will hear from Christy Santacana with a membership report.
Hey everyone, just a brief little update today. I don't have too much going on with membership, but we had our November virtual social a few days before Thanksgiving, so the week before. So we had a smaller crew turnout this time. We had a lot of fun, a lot of catching up over our virtual beverages. So we will let you know when the next one is planned. So it'll be a little bit hard with the holidays in December, but we'll keep you guys posted. Otherwise, if you have any potential members, just send them my way. And that's it for today.
Thank you, Christy. And if Alex Kensinger is there, we can hear from her about the upcoming fundraiser.
Thank
Thanks, Eric. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Just a quick reminder that we are going to have a virtual trivia night next, I think it's next Wednesday, December 9th. Starting at 5:30. Obviously we cannot get together for our annual holiday gathering. So this is our way of getting everybody together to celebrate the holidays and just have a chance to catch up with everybody and enjoy each other's company. So again, it's a virtual trivia night. There will be raffle prizes. And we're encouraging everybody to bring their spouses and their families, their children. We just want it to be a family fun event. All proceeds are going to be going to the Salvation Army. So just mark your calendars. It will start at 5:30 again. And an evite will be going out this week. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Thanks.
Thanks, Alex. Now we'll go back to Mark Hackett for a discussion about the Vocational Service Award.
Thanks, Eric. I thought these charts were going to be up later, so I apologize for not covering up. A lot of you already are aware of our Rotary Club of Raleigh Vocational Service Leadership Award. This is our 6th year, and we are happy to kick it off again this year. Valerie, if you go to the next page. Thank you. So Rotary has 4 key objectives. The concept of vocational service is rooted in the second objective, which calls on Rotarians to encourage and foster, first, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Next page, please. In recognition of Rotary's focus on vocational service, our club is pleased to kick off its 6th annual Vocational Service Leadership Award. This award is presented annually to a non-Rotarian who uses his or her vocation to serve the community or has excelled in their vocation and chosen to serve the community. As part of the award presentation, our club will make a donation to the Paul Harris Society in the name of the award winner. The award winner will then be invited to our club meeting to discuss his or her vocation and its effect on the Raleigh community. And you can see at the bottom of this chart, our past award winners, very distinguished people, and all 5 have made significant contributions to the Raleigh community. Next page, please. Since these nominations can only be made by active members of our club, each of you has the opportunity to participate. We ask that you consider nominating someone you know who exemplifies the ideals of Rotary through service. Complete the nomination form, which is very simple, and submit it either to me or Linda no later than December 31st. The Vocational Service Leadership Award Review Board, which is comprised of our current club president, Eric, and at least 4 past presidents, will review the nominations and select the award winner sometime in January or February. Detailed guidelines and nomination forms, if they're not already, will be available on our website, or let me know that you need them, or Linda know, and we will mail them to you electronically. We'd like to increase our current pool of candidates this year, so please think about those persons you know or work with who may be excellent candidates for this award. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you so much, Mark. All right, and next we will go to Gina Yacone for a report on activities of the Service Committee.
Hi guys, happy Monday. I hope all of you had a fantastic Thanksgiving with your families and that you are now gearing up for the Christmas holiday. I want to give an update pertaining to the park event. We had 2 park events in November. Want to thank all of you guys that attended. I have some photos of the really hard work that was done to clean up and beautify one of the parks in southeastern Raleigh. So here are a couple slides with photos. So Valerie, if you want to go through. I wonder who those handsome devils are in that masks. As you can see, that there was tons of social distancing going on, but a lot of hard work during this time. You can see that there was mulch that was laid out, as well as some planting. And we did get an email from Mary at the parks that wanted us to know that the bulbs arrived and the groundskeepers are going to be getting bulbs, flower bulbs in ASAP, and that we should be seeing daffodils and tulips growing in March. So that's really exciting. And also we are getting a bench donated. So it's very exciting. So thanks for all of the hard work that went into the 2 days of service. It looks great, and I'm glad that it was very well attended. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is our annual bell ringing. So we have bell ringing coming up. The dates, of course, it looks different. It's from December 14th to the 24th. We have tons of slots still available. On the newsletter today, there was a link for you to go to Sign Up Genius to coordinate different times at the location of where we're always at that Walmart. So please go in, try to donate a couple hours of your time, because Salvation Army, the bell ringing is going to look way different this year. They are expecting a strong decrease in money donations at the different kettles. So as such, we are looking at it to look differently. So please also consider, if you do a yearly donation to the Salvation Army, that you bring maybe your check to our kettle, or tell Linda that you're going to send it to her so we can put it in our kettle, so we can get the I guess the credit for it. I think that that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Gina. Okay, let's wish a happy anniversary to Carrie and Paul Suffern. They've been married for 10 years as of December 4th. So happy anniversary to you guys. I hope you have a great day. At this point, we are ready to move forward with our speaker. So I'm pleased to introduce to you, for those of you who have not met James LaMantia, at least virtually through our Zoom chats. James is a Rotarian from Northport, New York, and he has had a career in the fine art world that started when he was a young man. He was inspired by his family, which was made up of artists and educators. After graduating from art school, James managed a gallery on Madison Avenue in Manhattan for 5 years. And then at the age of 26, having trouble thinking of what I had accomplished at the age of 26, but at the age of 26, James decided to open LaMantia Gallery on the Gold Coast of Long Island, where he has been working for the past 31 years. Until at least recently, when he has also opened up a new gallery here in Raleigh, in Cameron Village. Over the years, James has been invited to sit on panel discussions at numerous art conventions around the country. He has had articles published and been regularly quoted in trade magazines. And he was proud when his gallery was voted the #1 gallery in the nation for retail excellence by Decor magazine in 2005. While successful in business, James is also involved in many community projects and is most proud of being the chair of the Gift of Life Long Island since September of 2017. He's also the secretary for Gift of Life International. He has been the president of his club, the Northport Rotary Club, twice. And he is most passionate for Gift of Life, stemming from an incident from his own childhood, which has led him to a life of protecting and caring for those in need. James is known as someone who can energize a group. He's a high energy individual, communicative, and thinks creatively, from running and promoting fundraisers to climbing Mount Marcy, the tallest peak in New York. And he did that to raise money. He raised over $11,000 for the Gift of Life. James gets things done, and we are lucky to hear from him now. James, take it away.
Thank you for the introduction, Eric. And first, my sincere, I guess, heartfelt for the club over the loss of Wilson. I can hear it from everyone that's spoken. He was a very special man. I never met him, but I could just tell from the few words and watching him play. It's, you know, my heart goes out to all of you, and I will shorten my presentation so that we leave room at the end in case more people would like to pay tribute to him. But Eric, you spoke earlier about the circle of life when we saw the newborn, which is sort of a good intro into what Gift of Life is. Gift of Life International has been around for 45 years, and I'm going to start with some numbers for you. Every year in the world, 1.2 million kids are born in the world with some form of congenital heart disease. And 93% of those children are born in a country that can do absolutely nothing about it. So if you can imagine being a parent in one of these countries where you learn your child has a hole in the heart or some abnormality that needs to be fixed, and the doctors literally saying that there's nothing that we could do about it. That's our mission. It started 45 years ago. And in those 45 years, we've saved the lives of over 40,000 kids. We've operated in 80 countries. We have 84 programs that operate around the world. As secretary, I manage those programs. And it's amazing that we've got this down to a system where we're sending teams of doctors all over the world constantly to help these children. And pre-COVID, we were doing over 3,000 surgeries a year. We've ramped up our program where we were getting close to almost 4,000 kids. When COVID hit, it did not shut us down, but we still doing about 40 surgeries a month instead of the 300 plus that we normally would do a month. But one thing I love about Gift of Life is that every 3 hours somewhere in the world, a child is being saved by the Gift of Life program. Eric, you said at 26, you know, I started the gallery, and you were wondering what you were thinking when you were 26. And that's actually another great lead-in, because the program was started by Robbie Dono, who was a Manhasset Rotarian, and actually in the karting industry. He liked to call himself a garbage man in New York. And at 26, he had heard about a small girl in Uganda that needed heart surgery. And if she did not have this heart surgery, she would likely die. And as a Rotarian at 26, he raised money, energized the groups, and managed to get Grace Agora brought over to the United States to have her surgery, never imagining that that one little action would have started a chain of events that would have been going on for over 45 years and over 40,000 kids being saved. So Valerie, if you would, maybe I have a 2-minute video just to show one of the parents and get a little bit of an insight, and then I'll come back and wrap up with a few stories as well.
You have a video?
Oh, it was the video that was sent to Linda.
I got pictures. I didn't get a video.
Okay, well, as Eric, I can energize the group, so I will tell you what the video said. Let's see. Why don't we go through the pictures then? Maybe if we could just start with picture number 1. This is a little child, a 2-month-old child in in El Salvador. I was down in El Salvador 2 years ago, and this is the type of patient that we work on. Little children, any ages from several weeks old up to 14, 15 years of age. This girl had Down syndrome and had a very large hole in her heart that needed to be repaired. If you could go to the next slide, please. We'll see that the child survived the surgery well. This is what we do. San Salvador happens to be one of the areas where they actually perform their own surgeries. We have 4 what we call core programs in El Salvador, Uganda, Romania, and Jamaica, where we have trained teams to actually perform on their own children. So this little girl is one of the lucky recipients of the gift of life. If we could go to the next one. I was down in Haiti a few years back, and in this slide, you'll see that kids, the parents will literally bring their children, sometimes travel as much as 4 hours on the backs of these little mopeds, whatever they can get to a unit where we're performing these surgeries. And when I arrived on the scene, this was early in the morning, these parents had been lining up already for hours to get the screening of their procedures. Maybe we could go to the next one, please. And in these screenings, the children, I mean, it's heartbreaking, but it's also rewarding because we know we can help so many of these kids. And while we're doing close to 4,000 a year, we can't help all of them. I mean, if you think of the 93% of these kids are born in a country that can't help them, and you're talking 1.2 million kids, you know, we're just making a dent in it. But every time we save a life, we feel like we're raising awareness of the program, raising the level of love in the world. And ultimately, we believe that number of 4,000 will get us as high as 10,000 children that will be helped hopefully soon enough. If we can go to the next slide. This little girl that you're going to see here is a precious little girl. Now, this photo was taken about 7 years ago, and my expertise or my travel tends to be around Central America. So I'll go to Haiti, I'll go into Honduras, I'll go into El Salvador. And on one trip in Haiti, it was a great mission. We had performed 10 surgeries in 4 days, saved the lives of 10 kids, and screened another 25 kids for future surgeries. And everything was going great. About to get on the plane to come home, and the echocardiologist here is screening this little child who I believe is 4. And I said, let me just snap this photo. This is precious. I mean, a beautiful, beautiful little girl. And after I snapped this, I looked at it and I said, gorgeous. And then the echocardiologist, the doctor, turned to me and said, she's not a candidate. So at 4 years old, this child's heart was too far gone, too far deteriorated, that he then had to turn to the mother and tell her, unfortunately, she's not a candidate for heart surgery. The heart is too far gone. It's just, would not be able to be repaired, especially at her age. And the mother turned back to the doctor and said, well, you know, we'll make her life here as special as possible. But this little girl, people say to me, well, you know, we have kids here. Why are we helping kids overseas? Well, if you see a little kid here that's not growing, that's blue, that may be lethargic, no energy, someone in the community will tell somebody, and they get taken care of. No hospital will turn that child away. When you're living in an emerging country and you're a child like this little girl, at the age of 4, unfortunately, you look like so many other kids. So that by the time we get in to screen these children, it's too far gone. So this little girl will probably, this was 7 years ago, she's probably still with us, probably not for too long, but I have to say that this photo is my motivation to speak and to raise money for Gift of Life International at every chance that I get.
James, I found a video, Healing Little Hearts. Is that the one you wanted?
It's a 2-minute video?
I think it is.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Thank you so much, Valerie.
3.
It's different, but it's okay. Let's see this. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for that. That video specifically was the what Gift of Life Long Island, our program, did between 2019 2020. We did over 978 surgeries. That's Suffolk County. I mean, that is a small county, so we are a very powerful program. Part of the reason why I was anxious to speak to your club was there's the opportunity to create a Gift of Life program Raleigh, which I know does not exist as of right now. But to finish things up and to leave time for some more tribute, I'm just going to share one last story. And I was in San Pedro Sul in the central part of Honduras last fall. And we were down there to start a mission. San Pedro Sul has a big need for pediatric cardiology. In San Pedro Sul, we met the head of cardiology who was able to identify issues that children had with their hearts. And when we asked them, what can you do about it? Or what do you do about it? The surgeon, head of cardiology, literally stepped back and shrugged his shoulders and went like this. Because in San Pedro Sul, they do not have the capability of helping any children. Now, if you have enough money, you're able to get your child up to the capital city to have your surgery done. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that in the middle of San Pedro Sul, Honduras, there aren't that many parents and families that have that kind of money to send children up for the surgeries. So that's our mission. This little girl that you see on the screen, that's the reason why I work as hard as I do to help as many of these kids as possible. And being that it's a little shortened, Eric, I'd be happy to come back anytime if we want to answer any questions. You know, I'd be more than happy to. And also, you know, certainly interested in joining the club. And I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, James. And we would certainly love to have you join the club. And I'm sure that Christy and Linda will be sending you membership information soon. And we really appreciate all of this work that you do. I do have one question. And if anybody has any questions real quickly, please leave them in the chat. You know, I was interested in how you go about recruiting doctors and encouraging doctors to participate in this program.
Well, it's an easy ask. And when doctors, especially pediatric cardiologists, the nurses, the whole team, when they see the photos, they see the need, they sign up. We have teams of doctors from New York, from Florida, from Michigan. In fact, we actually work closely with Duke. We have a team from Duke that goes overseas. We have teams in Italy, all over the world. It's an easy ask, frankly, and they all volunteer their time. All the money that we raise goes for their flights, for the locations, for the tools, but they volunteer all their time to go on these trips, and some of them into some dicey places, frankly.
Absolutely. And Elsa wants to know if this is associated at all with Doctors Without Borders.
Nope, it's a completely separate organization, also a great group, but we're actually, Gift of Life International is the #1 charity in the world whose focus is on children with heart disease in emerging countries.
So sorry, James. And Eric, I apologize to you for breaking protocol. I was just typing and I couldn't get the wording down right. James, thank you so much for what you do. Obviously, this photo that you stopped on, you know, just breaks my heart, and you just keep it on there because that's the same age as my little daughter. And for some reason, I can like recognize those eyes as having raised a little girl who, I swear, that look, it's just really, really heartbreaking. And so thank you so much for the work that you do. In the work that you do, what have you learned about disparities that exist? Because a lot of what you've shown were, you know, brown children around the world who just don't have infrastructure. So what have you learned about the disparities, one, and two, some structural things? I know that you may not have the means, or places may not have the ability, but from your point of view, from the work that you've done, what structurally can be changed to kind of ameliorate these situations?
Well, first of all, there's no disparities. Ironically, we do surgeries everywhere in the world, from the Philippines to the Middle East. We do not look at color. We do not look at culture. We do not look at religion. our focus is on children, and which at times has gotten us into trouble because, and that's a really great question. I actually had someone in New York who was going to make a $50,000 donation until he learned that I was traveling to Palestine on a program where we were having Israeli doctors come in to work on Palestinian children. And he said, I can't support that. We do not look at any of that. We go wherever a child is in need. So we do not see color, religion, anything. As far as structurally, in order for these programs to work, we need to have the support of the government. We need to have the support of a local Rotarian group and the support of a local team that can provide the children for us. So when we were in Honduras, we met with the head of the Department of Health, who was asking right away, what kind of money are we bringing to the program? And we already knew we were on the wrong foot. It's like, no, well, actually, we will bring the doctors, we'll do the training, and what can you offer? And he said, well, when we see what you can do, maybe we can give you some money. So it's a lot of challenges, a lot of politics involved, but it all starts with hope. When we go into San Pedro Sula, which we will, and we do some surgeries, the hope spreads, it gets the attention of the government, and then the structure comes into place where we can put programs together. Can I finish with one last thing, Eric? Just a little, and because of that question, I thought it was a very important question too. My goal out of everything that I do is anybody can change the lives of children. So I have a book that I'm finishing up. I'm going to hold it up. It's being published next month, and it's called "I'm a Fine Art Dealer Who Does Heart Surgery on the Side." And the book is stories written by my current Gift of Life International board members, because on that board, we have a garbage man who does heart surgery on the side. We have a financial analyst. It doesn't matter who you are, you can really save the lives of these kids. And of this book, 100% of the money raised will go right to Gift of Life International and their surgery fund.
That is really wonderful, James. Do we have any other questions? We still have a few minutes here before 1:30.
Eric, I have a question, James.
Yes.
James, I'm Jim Dorsett. So nice to meet you virtually. Thank you for your interest in our club and the wonderful work that you're doing. I'm wondering if these teams that you train in these different areas of the world, if they, in some cases, continue to function as a team and to operate, and where you've organized a team, do they continue to take care of children after the surgeries that you've financed? Do they become sort of self-sustaining entities taking care of children in the particular locations?
That's a great question. First part is we have a local group, which is part of the three-prong effort to get a group that's self-sustaining: the government, a local Rotary, and a local group that helps to provide the kids. So the local group always follows up on our children to make sure that the children stay healthy and continue to grow. As far as self-sustaining, we have 80 programs around the world, and only 4 of them are self-sustaining. Again, Uganda, Jamaica, El Salvador, and Romania. It takes a lot of effort. A lot of pieces have to be put in place, and a lot of it has to start with the government, and that's usually the hiccup, which is why we're able to send the teams of doctors overseas, and we've got it down to a science where our missions are going to, when we get to fly again, we're going to be helping more kids. And just keeping in mind, I didn't mention it earlier, but these surgeries, these procedures can run anywhere from as little as $1,200 as high as $3,000 to save a life. So when I speak, often I would say, if you want to take a family of 4 to Yankee Stadium to a ball game, it's almost the same cost as saving a life of one of these kids. So great question, but self-sustaining is always our goal, but it's always a challenge with the governments.
Sure.
James, this is Bonnie Elam. I wrote something in the chat. I'm a physician assistant that both volunteers in Haiti at different capacities, but I see children in Cité Soleil, and have actually referred children to you all. And I want to say thank you so much for that. I also want to recruit some of our members if they would like to go down, because it takes not only the surgeons and nurses and PAs, it takes a lot of support staff, people to enter names in computers and to follow up. So maybe we can get together and work on that.
That's a fabulous idea. And I can tell you, being a part of the Gift of Life team, and the photo that you see here, that's me front and center. I've been in more heart surgeries than you can imagine. And each time I'm amazed by it. I love going into the surgeries. When you see my story, my chapter in here is of a little girl whose heart was stopped in Haiti, so that they could stitch up a hole. And then I watched the nurse pump air into these little lungs and seeing the lungs inflate and deflate, and then getting her off of the heart lung machine and miraculously seeing that heart start up on its own again. You want to experience life and know what life is really about, be in one of these heart surgeries, and you'll never look at life the same again.
Thanks for that. We got one final question from Linda Monahan, who wants to know if you use interpreters, and that's part of the group that travels with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to. You have to. And often we'll have people come to our country, Gift of Life, Long Island. We happen to like to host our children. So when we bring children, we have surgeries done in St. Francis Hospital. And we have interpreters for pretty much every language. And actually, with Google Translate, you can speak to anybody these days. And a quick funny story was, we had a little boy out from Romania in 2 years ago. He was 4 years old. His mother was 27. And the local Rotarians, they were staying in their home, immersed in our culture. And, they wanted to do something special. So they put, a piano and violin little recital, a soiree in their house, and about 20 Rotarians there. And at one point, the mom typed in Albanian and handed it to me in Translate, and it said, "Boy, these people must be really rich," which was hysterical. And, honestly, it was a modest home, but I love the idea that when people stay with us, they see the best of what America has to offer, and they take that back home with them and share stories like that. I don't know if I answered the question, but I think I did.
You did answer the question. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing the great work that this organization does. I think the theme of our meeting today is this idea that, if there's something good and beautiful and important in the world, or something that needs to happen, it won't just happen automatically. It needs good people to make it happen. And a person who exemplified that, in our club here is Wilson Heyman. And we appreciate the good work that you and your club up in New York have done. 978 surgeries sponsored by one club in New York is a great accomplishment, and so important to help save the lives of these vulnerable children. So thank you for that. Thanks to all of you for joining us for the meeting today. And we will close with the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all
Concerned.
Third, will it
build goodwill and better friendships?
And finally, will it be
beneficial to all concerned?
We are adjourned. If anybody wants to stay on and share any memories of Wilson or chat a little bit, feel free.
A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. Very good.
Excellent job, Eric.
Thank you very much.
Eric, this is Bonnie. I want to send my deepest condolences to you because I know you lost one of your best friends.
He was a good friend. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I know he was a good friend to lots of us. So.
He really was.
Yeah.
And that was a very nice tribute at the beginning, Richard. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was very nice. And thanks, Mary, if you're still on.
She's gone.
The video of Wilson that I played is on our YouTube channel. So you can just follow the link from any of the newsletters and it takes you to our YouTube channel, and the video that I shared today is on there if you want to watch it again.
Great. Thanks, Valerie. All right, guys. And you're welcome, Lucy.
Have a great week.
Y'all take care. I'll see you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Take
week.
care.
Take care.
See you, Randy.